Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Super Magical Podcast, a weekly interactive podcast where we take a sincere, sarcastic, and this week, a very celebratory look at the world of gaming, TV, music, movies, and more. My name is Mallow. That's not Hoover. We said he was going to be back this week, but Hoover's dying of the plague and currently in a zombie containment unit way up north.
Yeah, he's infected by the taint, y'all.
He's infected by the taint. So he's going to sit this one out. Joining me again in the studio is my co-host for life, Jay. How are you, love?
Hello.
I see a pattern theme going on here with your Darmok and Jalad shirt matching the headphones.
At
I like that.
Tanagra.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot.
Chaka on the walls.
Shaka!
More on that later.
Yeah. We're streaming live around the world on Twitch, twitch.tv/supermagicalpodcast. Hello, Twitch. How are you, loves? We love you all out there. Thank you for joining us. We invite you to leave comments, questions, reactions, heckle us. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Just talk with us in the show. We love to hear from you. We're going to dive in. We got a packed show tonight, actually.
We do, and Mallow, I'm going to let you finish.
Okay.
But
if it's the thing that I think you're going to talk about, we'll talk about that at the end. Is it the thing I think you're going to talk about?
that thing?
That thing.
Okay.
We'll talk about that at the end.
Okay.
All right.
You won't let me have my Kanye moment.
No, we need Kanye right about now for the current political climate, though.
Ain't that the
So,
truth?
pre-show, we were talking about Kardashians, and that got me on the Kanye thing.
All right, get into your news.
News. Hackers say they have found a secret game hidden inside the Nintendo Switch. Do you know what that game is?
Putt-putt.
It's a little putt-putt game. It looks fun. It is dedicated to Satoru Iwata's death, actually. And it's supposedly going to unlock on the date of his death. But some people have found it a little bit ahead of time. So I'm interested to see when it actually comes out. There's a lot of Switch news tonight, so we're actually going to be kind of like checking it out here soon when it comes around. But that's kind of a little thing in the Switch. It's like, how cool is that? How cute is that?
Yeah, I thought it was very touching, and I got a little tear. I thought that was it's very well done if it works the way they say it do. So if you have a Switch that you haven't connected online yet, you can try it and see if it'll work, because it won't know the date. That's the whole thing. If it's synced up with Wi-Fi or whatever, then it knows what today is.
Yeah, I think if you take it off the date, you go try it, and then you got to set it to July 11th, 2018, and that should unlock it.
Although, can you factory reset it?
Well, you can factory reset anything these days.
We can.
I can factory reset my head.
I've looked into it.
Oh, okay.
No takebacks.
All right. Damn. Well, at least you're not trading me in for a younger man.
You are a younger man.
Well, I'm an old soul, though. In other Switch news tonight, hackers have also come up with a way to play Breath of the Wild as Waluigi, the main characters from GTA San Andreas, everything. I'm just sorry. Shut it down, Waluigi. Breath of the That's it. That's all I want right now. That is amazing.
He just looks so out of place, though.
I don't care.
Like
it's fantastic.
it's this beautiful world, and then he's all creepy crawly Waluigi. And yeah, we got some feedback there.
1 week you're too loud. Next week you're not loud enough. Now you're back too loud again.
I'm woke this week.
You're woke this week. All right.
Woke.
He's rendered beautifully in the trailer, though.
So who else do you want to see invade Link's world?
I would love to see Rick and Morty in Zelda. Like, every time he eats, it's just, oh, Morty, it's okay. Like, just randomly walking around dealing with it, you know?
See, I was going to say Archer, so I think we're kind of on a similar...
All right, I could see Archer.
thought pattern
I could see
there.
Archer. Yeah.
Shout out to cartoons that only come on at night. Ooh, maybe the Teen Titans could get in there and they could do The Night Begins to Shine.
That's actually a really, really good set of ones that we still need to finish that whole thing, actually.
We do.
Yeah, but that was a really, really fun one. So, I think there's also a Woody from Toy Story. That's always fun.
Yes, I saw that too.
Yeah. So, hey, why not? I'm a big fan of Thomas the Tank Engine in Skyrim and the Macho Man in Fallout and all that kind of stuff. So I love these mods. Like, let's keep them coming. I'm all good with this. Oh, and two more Switch games that are coming out that I did not know were released, so I'm just bringing it up here. Stardew Valley, which I think just got a release date. Like, they are now like approved by Nintendo and all that kind of stuff, so that's good. Stardew Valley is a game right up your alley. It's really fun. It's cute. Looks a lot like Earthbound from back in the day. And Doom, which is definitely up your alley.
Press all the buttons,
kill all the monsters. So those are coming to the Switch very soon. Doom is only going to run in 720p, even though when it's plugged into your TV and stuff like that, which I think is kind of weird, but I get it. It's mostly a portable console. I've kind of reset my head as the Switch being just a portable console. Like, I haven't really thought about actually having it plugged in ever, really. I don't know. It doesn't really feel like it should be plugged in. So.
Yeah, just use it handheld.
Yeah, so we're still sharing it back and forth, but we'll be so.
Gotta get our Bomberman on.
We gotta figure out the left joystick thing for that one, because I think that's what was killing us last time. So, voice actors, which there's been an 11-month boycott against the other game companies. That has now ended. So 11 months ago, when we started this podcast, there were no voice actors working really in Hollywood.
You missed a prime opportunity.
What?
You could have had another side hustle because you're not SAG.
No, I'm not SAG. You are correct. On purpose sometimes. But SAG-AFTRA today announced that they 11 video game companies they've been striking against. They're big ones too, like Activision, Electronic Arts, Take-Two, Warner Brothers, you name it. They're no longer having the issues with them. I think they're going to be able to start going back to work. Some of the things that they've had, like the sticking points of the negotiations this whole time, really has been secondary compensation. Now, for those who are not in the car with us every day and don't know what Jess and I talk about, it's all music. We almost had a music podcast, which we could probably do a nerdcore or nerd-themed podcast one day. And a lot of feedback in here too. That's weird. Anyways, but this thing really comes around secondary representation, royalties, bonuses, you name it. I did not know, and this is my own ignorance, and I apologize. I did not know they didn't make royalties off the work.
Yeah, me neither.
That is insane, and I don't blame them for striking. I didn't blame them for striking to begin with because there was a lot of other things about working conditions and length of work, and my day job, I deal with a lot of these kind of things in LA all the time, so I understand, we got to cut work by this amount of time, otherwise we go into overtime, and, all these things that make for normal working conditions, totally was behind them for that. I did not know that they don't get any royalties, bonuses, you name it.
Which seems so ridiculous considering that some of these video game franchises make more money than so-called Hollywood blockbusters. So to think that the voice actors are going to only be paid single shot was just ridiculous. I mean, think of all the money that Jean Reno could have been getting paid.
Very true. Very true. I don't tend to understand what's going on as far as, like, they've got this bonus structure that apparently goes on. It's like, they get an extra $75 payment on the first session, and then they get $2,100 after 10 sessions or something like that. I don't know how long the sessions work, but one voice actor said that he got paid about $100,000 for 15 months worth of work. That's not too bad, not terrible. But it was also like, I think it was for Grand Theft Auto 4, and that
sold like 25 million copies or something like that.
So do the math on that. They made a ton of money. Now, you have artists and devs and programmers, QA, and all these other things to pay, but they are actors. It's their performance. The mocap teams should get performance as well, and there's just a lot of that kind of stuff that needs to get figured out. So I'm very happy that more and more people are coming back to it. I'm very happy that they're getting some of this stuff going, because there's a lot of the voice actors that we have not necessarily seen a lot from. A lot of the games that are coming out now, I think, don't have some of the same traditional voice actors to them, mainly because of that whole thing. So we'll see how this whole thing kind of works out. But
yeah, and casting voice actors, so I've got to do this before in my day job. It's a lot of fun.
it is a lot of fun
To like hear people read the same script in different inflection, and then if it's something like what I do where it can be pretty gender neutral, you don't know if you want a male voice or a female voice. And
Oh, I know nothing about that from a certain campaign that I'm running right now.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun. But I think one thing that this does, and I think one of the reasons why they probably weren't paid the royalties before, was because, well, it's just video games. It's not real entertainment. It's not
Yeah.
highbrow,
Yeah.
televised award show worthy entertainment. And so score one for
Yeah.
the nerds.
It's very interesting that the whole thing kind of just comes together of this like worthiness sort of thing. That seems dumb to me. With as much money as most video games make nowadays, it actually makes more than most movies.
I also think that the entertainment industry in general is a little slow to catch up to trends and to catch up when it needs to redo structures like this. And you see that not only with the voice actor thing, but you also see it with like royalties for music that was purchased to be used in television shows. And it's why some television shows have never made it to streaming, because they don't have the royalties to pay for the music. Or in the case of Dawson's Creek, I think I mentioned this last week or the week before, Dawson's Creek keeps coming up. It was a great show, by the way. But we own the first 2 seasons of Dawson's Creek on these antiquated things called DVDs. It was a Black Friday deal at Target. And that has the original I Don't Want to Wait theme song by Paula Cole on it. But if you go on Netflix or Amazon right now and stream Dawson's Creek, it has some brand new, totally cheesy intro song to it. And so, yeah.
Now I'm looking up to see if Paula Cole is actually, she's on Spotify.
Ooh, she could be so like Little Fairy that, yeah.
It shows her on here. I don't want to log in because I don't want to mess up my playlist. It shows her on here. I mean, it could be like a Garth Brooks thing, because for a while Garth Brooks wasn't anywhere on. You can't find him on YouTube. Yeah.
That's why you went out on Christmas Eve one year, because I wanted to hear Colin Patton Rouge.
Yeah, I make it happen. I make it happen in this relationship.
Yep.
Now he's on Amazon, so there's a little bit, at least a little bit there. But you can't find him on Spotify. You can't find him on Google Play, and a lot. So I don't know. It's just interesting. Daria is another one.
Yes,
they changed all of the music in Daria, even for the DVD, because they didn't ever thought. I guess they never thought that it was coming out on DVD.
I think Beavis and Butthead was that way too, because it had so much of the grunge from the '90s in it, that they had to change a lot of that stuff around too, which really changes the. And we're audiophiles, so we pay a lot of attention to music, and we notice those things, and so it really changes the flavor of the show when those things happen.
It is amazing, yeah. And Beavis and Butthead being so integral. It's I mean, it's not like King of the Hill, Bob's Burgers, or something like that. That can be fine. Rick and Morty, for the most part, totally fine. But it is weird, man. Beavis and Butthead on like a DVD or something. Real quick, so do you remember? I don't know if you remember this. It's been a couple of episodes. We talked about the Atari box. You remember that whole thing?
I vaguely remember this.
Okay,
yes.
so this is Atari boxes is like the console that Atari is putting out, and it feels like like when we first looked at it, it was like, oh, it's like an Atari NES Classic. That's cool. But then they were like, no, we got like HDMI ports, and we've got like processors. They wouldn't tell us what the hell was in
I
it.
like the way you said processor. It's
Yeah.
like, we have processors.
Processors.
I need a pop filter.
Yeah. But like they wouldn't tell us kind of like what's in it and all, but now they're coming out and saying that it's got an AMD customized processor. It's going to run Linux. Customized, easy. Apparently, they used customize a lot in the press release briefing on this. But it will offer a full PC experience on the TV. I don't know what the means. Like,
You don't remember? So my Atari was my first computer, right? And so I had the gray Atari,
yeah,
and it had the keyboard, and then I would practice typing, and then just
Yeah.
words would fly up on the blue screen.
yeah,
So it's like that for the digital
right.
age.
So we're just gonna get a typing simulator 2018 on
Yeah.
there. Okay, got it.
Type in a Mi Pro, see what happens.
The thing that I don't. This sounds like the Ouya. You remember the Ouya? It was a little thing, like not Oduya from the Blackhawks, but Ouya. Like
Yes,
a little
I
box.
remember the
Ouya. And it's kind of screams like that. Like, okay, we're gonna have a custom operating system that it's running on Linux, Linux, whatever you guys yell at me in the chat. I don't care. And all this kind of stuff, and it just makes like I'm not sure what they're trying to accomplish here, but I like it to a degree. But it's supposed to have quote unquote tons of classic arcade or classic Atari games preloaded. So that'll take up like 10 megs of however big the hard drive is. Like, what are you gonna do with the rest of the hard drive? I don't know. We talked about
War games.
More games, yeah. I mean, is there gonna be like a content store? Is this gonna connect to Steam? Is this like the next Steam box just with Atari loaded into it? Like, a full PC experience means I can put Chrome, put Discord on it, and talk to everybody that's in the Super Magical chat. Like,
A year from now, we might be running this podcast from an Atari
we
box.
have been thinking of new ways to run the podcast, so that could be one of them. Yeah, well,
Of course, the problem is not many average consumers know Linux.
well, I think it's more on the developers. Like, if it works on Mac, it could work on Linux pretty easily. Linux.
True.
Tomato,
Tomato, tomato.
Right, because I think they're all Unix type.
Does anybody
systems.
actually say tomato?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. May continue.
No, it's fine. I was sort of wondering. I was thinking of the guy from One Shot Podcast, but I don't think he calls himself a tomato. So
Aluminum, aluminium,
yeah, I don't know where the hell they get the from.
Hyundai, Hyundai.
Or how the hell? Mac Lethal actually has a great song called "Weed and Coffee," and he talks about like he's like I got a Honda, and he's like he doesn't want an expensive car or anything like that, and he goes through the whole thing, and he's like Honda, Hyundai, or however the fuck you explain it, but I got a Honda. Like it just keeps going back through that cold kind of thing. So sorry, digress. Fun song. Go look it up, Mac Lethal.
So you're saying you're not gonna rush out to pre-order an
No,
Atari box?
I don't think I will. I want to see more about it. If they would have sent us a review copy, be all over it. I'll gladly do a teardown and figure it out and plug it in and see what we can do with it. Like that's totally fine. But I think I am gonna probably wait a little bit just to kind of see what's going
I would really love if, like, I want it to have HDMI ports and
It does.
all that
Well,
great stuff.
the thing that we've been told so far is it's got HDMI port.
But I would really love if it also had the old school ports. And so you could go to Goodwill and find you a nice console television that's in the big wooden box with the engraving on it. And then you could hook it up with some rabbit ears or some UHF and some VHF and get that going. Like, if we're going to kick it old school, let's, kick it old school. I'm also giving away my age. I don't know if you know about the UHF and the VHF.
UHF was a great Al Yankovic movie.
It was.
It was an amazing. No, when I grew up, I had only 3 channels in the farm. You've been there, you know. That's all
True.
we had. We got 4 now because Fox is there. That's why I used to carry my Super NES out there for weeks at a time when I had to go spend it out in the middle of nowhere. I could still hook up. To this day, I can still hook up an SNES to just about any TV because I have that many adapters.
You can also watch all the Golden Girls you want.
Now, if it came preloaded with Golden Girls, day fucking one.
Okay, now that would be
Me and Xavier Woods. We would be the two in line together, just hanging out. We'd just be in the cold, being like, new. Derex. Maybe Mega Ran would come with us too, because he's a big fan.
that would be a great add-on though. Like they could have bundles, so you could get the Golden Girls bundle, the Designing Women bundle. Like pick the Murphy Brown bundle.
Murphy Brown,
pick
yeah.
your like
The Home Improvement bundle.
like 80s, early
sold at
90s.
Lowe's, like-
yeah, exactly. We won't be selling Cosby Show bundles. Sorry.
No. It comes in a sweater vest and a lot of weird, creepy shit.
Yeah, we won't be doing that one.
Just gonna move straight on from that weird joke. But the Atari 2600 was actually predated all of that though. So like
It did.
it predated all of the things that we just mentioned.
Gosh, okay.
So we're talking like
It would be like a Dukes of Hazzard bundle.
a little bit, yeah. It's in the Dukes of Hazzard kind of like
Webster? Could we get a Webster bundle?
possibly Mary Tyler Moore.
Different Strokes.
Different Strokes was early 90s, I think.
No, Different Strokes was the 80s.
Yeah, but the Atari 2600 came out in the 70s.
The 70s?
I think it was late 70s. It's all
Kids were playing video games.
there's the
in the 70s?
magic, the magic thing.
What would we have done if
Yep.
Al Gore?
Release date 1977. I am September 11th, 1977. I am the man. And I can
Who's
look
the
at things up
man?
on.
Who's the-
I at least knew it was the 70s. I had a 10-year gap to work with, and then I had to, It had
Okay.
128 bytes of RAM.
The Three's Company bundle.
I could take that one. Yeah.
The-
Three's Company.
The Happy Days bundle.
Did you said you had the plastic one? You didn't get the wood grain? You didn't get the wood grain one?
Mm-mm.
I had the wood grain.
That's
To
some-
this day,
that's
I
some
hate that
fancy shit.
I don't think I can find it at the parents' house anymore, but I am gonna search when we go back.
It's in the attic.
It
I
might,
mean,
it might actually be if it
a
is.
squirrel might have eaten it,
There's
but
good possibility, but I am actually gonna go try it and see if I can find it, because that would be fantastic. The thing about it is if they don't come out with the classic Pong and the joystick and stuff like that for this one, all bets are off. No day one, because to me that's what I want. I don't care about having a fancy controller or anything like that, or Bluetooth. And this one right here, let's get this one. SNES 360, SNES 30 game controller. I found it at Fry's. I don't know if it works yet or not, so we'll figure it out. Here you go, try it.
it's legit.
Joe from the bunker says wood grain for life. So yes, that's what I'm talking about. Joe joins us just in time to hear about PUBG and Fortnite having a slap fest. Now you've been interested in Fortnite ever since we talked about the cross-platform play and the YouPorn channel that it's going to spawn.
Mm-hmm.
Category, excuse me. But more like a stupid fest. Yes, true. They're not very happy about the fact that PUBG is trying to lay claim to the fact that they are the battle. You're already giving me the face. You've read ahead. Good. They're trying to lay claim to the fact that they are the battle royal sort of experts. I don't think they've gone so far as to say they invented it, because certainly if they did, there would be enough people to like check them and let them know who.
Like Vince McMahon?
Well, no, not that kind of battle royal.
I mean, it's
Not
the
Royal
same,
Rumble.
It's the same concept, though. It's the last man standing.
It's the last man standing. It's King of the Hill style. Like, it's H1Z1 and Arma, and I would even go so far as things like Ultima Online. Yeah, Ultima. No, Quake. There's some other ones. Ultima. There's been some other ones out there. Unreal, not Ultima. That's what I'm looking about. Unreal. There's been a lot of those kind of things out there. So, anyways, fast forward to that. Epic put out a battle royal style mod game version of the new Fortnite game and stuff like that. And it looks fun. It plays well. It's cool. And they even went so far as saying like, hey, we're big fans of PUBG. We thought, hey, why don't we give people another game mode to play while they're in there? Because Fortnite, the problem with it is that it becomes a grind fest later on in the game. In fact, I think we've all but stopped playing the game for a little while because it's just the same stuff over. They really need to vary some things up. Why are you smiling like that?
Because there's a grind fest with cross-platform play.
There's a grind fest with platform play.
Sorry, you're married to a 12-year-old guy.
I'm okay with that. Well,
boobs.
Yeah, they said they were fans of battle royale games like PUBG. Okay, but it's
Everything's derivative.
Everything is derivative, and that's sort of the problem with it that comes along with this. So PUBG got pissy with,
Well, not only got pissy with it, but couldn't formulate an answer to what the problem is.
Yeah, it's all over the place on what they think is going to happen and what they feel like is right.
It's like our box is red, and now your box is red. Okay, red's a nice color. I like red too. What is your point?
Yeah.
It's very. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works.
It's like an Android fan getting pissed at Apple for saying they did something for.
Exactly. It's or somebody taking it all the way back to RIM, and then RIM gets pissed off that Apple does an iPhone and makes it better and easier.
Right.
And then it's like, oh well, we had the idea for a smartphone first, and it's like, well, your smartphone was kind of dumb and clunky and big. So
looking at you, BlackBerry.
Rest in peace, BlackBerry.
So yeah, it's just a nerd slap fight at this point.
It is, and it's not gonna go anywhere. And gamers don't care.
I don't think so, because there's a lot of people. The fun thing about this is most people would not have found the battle royale part of Fortnite had PUBG not said anything.
Mm-hmm.
So Epic Games, whether they were meant to or not, has goaded PUBG into giving them free press.
Yep.
And I did an unofficial poll of gamers. And the question was put out there exactly. Would you have continued playing Fortnite or continued even looking at it had PUBG not said anything? And a lot of people were just kind of like, no, I had stopped playing for a while. Grind Fest and it was this and that and all that kind of stuff. So it made them go in, update the game, look at the new mode, have some fun with it for a little bit. And I don't know if it's actually going to ever hurt PUBG or Epic for anything. But it's sort of one of those things where if you'd have just left it alone, it would have been gone. It'd have been a news story for a day. It kept on going. I don't know. It's just the thing about it is there's a lot of, and I'm not, chat's talking to me about hardcore gamers and stuff like that. I'm excluding those people because they want to ride hard for everything. They got a hard on for Xbox. They got a hard on for PS4. It doesn't matter. These are people who sort of toe the line on everything and just like to experience games. And I kind of sit with them in that one. I wouldn't even have remembered it. I would have gotten an email from Epic and been like, that's cool. And then kept going on with my life instead of bringing it up in my show to talk about it. And so now it's just, meh, you know?
Meh, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. Slap fight. Okay, so you have a choice. Do you want to do Star Trek Discovery now? Or do you want to do Star Trek Discovery at the end and do our game review first?
Let's do our game review.
Okay. Game review. This woman needs to go on tour for fighting games because she is the most annoying person when it comes to playing fighting games.
Or you're a sore loser.
Or things I probably shouldn't say on a podcast. We've been playing Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. It just came out.
And Mallow got schooled.
I only got schooled one night. The other night I won. Thank you very much. One meaning we played 5 games in a row.
I won 2 out of the 5, and then the next night I won all the game.
Okay.
There wasn't even a draw.
Chat's saying that you were clearly hacking, or that I was saying you were clearly hacking. It fucking feels like it.
I have a very simple strategy for fighting games. My strategy has been the same for many years. 3 words. Hit all the buttons. That's 4 words. I don't know how to count.
Counting is hard.
Math is hard, guys. I was a journalism major. But no, hit all the buttons. Like, you try to think and want to know what the buttons do, and I'm just like,
yes.
fight. Like, if you were on the playground and the big dude is about to whoop your ass, you can't be in the corner thinking about strategy and thinking, well, if I kick him in the knee and then hit him in the bridge of the nose, and no, you got to come out scrapping. I come out scrapping, and that's why you lose.
I'm more along the lines of like Robert Downey Jr. in the Sherlock Holmes movie, where like time slows down, and I'm like, no, hit him in the jugular, then go for the. Then as he falls down,
but that ain't how fighting really works.
Oh no, it's totally how fight. As somebody who fights, that's how fighting works.
Not where I'm from. Kill or be killed.
Excuse me.
Unless it's a first-person shooter, and then I kill and be killed. But that's
right.
A different strategy.
That's a different, completely different strategy. But look, you ain't the only one that came from the hood, all right? I just want to hear that. All I'm saying is when you hit a mega move, you and I are both surprised.
That's the beauty of it.
I'm trying to reason with
like
a mad woman.
It's like a real fight. You never know what's going to happen, right? Your scrawny little opponent may be having a good day. They ate their Wheaties, they Bootios, whatever it is that they ate. They drank their V8, whatever they had to do, and they came correct. And so you have to come correct also. Come correct, Mallow. Hit all the buttons. But, okay, so I'm liking this idea of me becoming a professional Marvel versus Capcom player. But
only if you can use a PlayStation controller, apparently.
Well, yes, I like my PS controller, but I need some representation. Do you think Jay-Z would ever get into esports?
I mean, I think it wouldn't be outside of the possibility. The man was sponsored by Budweiser at one point, so
if he gets into esports, I need him to sponsor me because I need guaranteed
Hove
money.
Gaming.
I need guaranteed money.
Okay.
I'm gonna leave my lucrative day job.
You're gonna have to get out some. Okay, that's fine.
Press all the buttons. Okay, give your legit review.
That was the legit review, I guess. You kicking some ass with it. I don't know.
So if we were men on film from In Living Color, you hated it.
No, I will play it. Here's the thing. I've played the story mode of it. Can't get past one thing of fucking Ultron Sigma. And I have played through most of some of the multiplayer modes and stuff like that. And so I can like say the story's okay, not bad, kind of a hokey Marvel story, cool.
Nobody plays this game for the story.
You play it so you can unlock some shit.
Really. Oh yeah,
that's all it is. You know,
I'll do that too by pressing all the buttons.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's kind of a fun choose your own adventure sort of fighting game. It does its thing a little bit like Mortal Kombat does, a little bit like Injustice does. Although I think the stories in Injustice are much better than Marvel, but that's okay. The one thing that I have noticed from all the reviews is that a lot of them have said the UI looks childish and doesn't look great and stuff like that. I'm like, when the hell did you guys become UI experts? It's a fucking fighting game where there's sprites going off all over the place, like, and a giant warning at the beginning, you know, so you don't have a epileptic seizure. Like, what the hell are you worried about a status bar? Like, come on now.
Yeah. I loved it. And if you like to just pick up a controller and just jump into a game, I like the battle mode.
Yeah, no, it gets you into the game fun. There's a lot of fun characters, including Little Lancelot, which at one point the game in story mode made me have to fight Ultron Sigma, which is the baddest bad guy, with Little Lancelot. That didn't work very well. And
the ladies in the game are quite spectacular. So
Captain Marvel fucking E.
That's your opinion. And Gamora and someone on the Capcom side who I can't remember, but
someone on the Capcom side. Which one? Describe her. This is what I'm playing against, guys. Someone on the Capcom side.
She's a woman. She had a really tiny waist, you know, as the women do. I honestly don't know. I played her like once. I stick mostly to the Marvel.
Okay. All right.
And then I played even the photographer dude. I think you beat him though.
I did because it's Frank West.
I mean,
Frank West being in the game is kind of funny.
like
If you know the
he's
history
gonna
of,
Polaroid you to death.
well, but if you know the history of
Ooh,
the
how big
Dead
that
Rising
was.
games and stuff like that, it being a zombie game, he's a very smart ass type character. Like Frank West plus Rocket Raccoon is the smart ass club. I think that would be a fun one to have. I don't know. We'll do some more streaming of it later.
You don't win games by being a smart ass. You win games by pressing all the buttons. Marvel vs. Capcom by
You're shilling now? You're shilling?
Trying to get my sponsorship, dog.
From Hove Gaming? Jesus.
It's The Rock.
All right. Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah.
We have a lot of thoughts. The first thing that we want to do is have thoughts on episode 1. Star Trek Discovery being the new Star Trek TV series that's coming out, being produced by CBS and Netflix. I have to put the and Netflix in there because they're actually a pivotal point of this whole thing that we'll get to in a second. We saw episode 1 on Sunday night with the rest of the world. What do you think?
I thought it was beautiful, like aesthetically. I enjoyed the more cinematic approach to the production. One of my first thoughts is, man, this show cost a lot of money to make. I enjoyed the characters. I want to get to know more about them.
Yeah.
I enjoyed where the story was going. I like that we have, 2 female protagonists, but it didn't beat you over the head with, hey, these are women. Hey, these are women. Did we tell you that these were women? Like, we just set up that they're women. One's black, one's Asian. We're done. But there were a couple of things about it, the story, that I found a little disappointing. I don't like the trope of the Klingons always being the proverbial bad guy. I think it would have been nice to have someone else be the mysterious people hiding behind the debris field or wherever they were.
By the way, if you haven't seen the episode, spoiler alert.
Oh yeah, spoiler alert. Sorry. This is like when we have all hands meetings and my CEO remembers halfway through the meeting because I'm standing up in the back doing this to give the confidentiality statement. Yeah. So I wasn't thrilled about that part, and I think in general it tried a little too hard to pull in so much that's familiar about Star Trek when I think it could have kind of gone boldly in a different direction and given us a little bit different story-wise.
I think that's fair. I think the other thing, though, the counterpoint that we were talking about earlier, offset, was that these, this is supposed to take place, I think, before the original series, if my timeline is correct. Biggest fault of Star Trek is not Star Wars. Got it. Chat is not loving the Star Trek yet. But the thing about it is like, I think these are supposed to take into account the fact that there weren't that many races discovered yet. This isn't the Next Generation where they just expanded the universe fold. So I'm okay with the fact that they're kind of distilling it back down to, the Federation versus the Klingons for a little bit, figure it out from there, and then kind of leap that off and go. I have a huge problem with the number of lens flares that were in there. It's like fucking J.J. Abrams was in all over this whole thing. I even looked up while we were like doing something, and I just saw a lens flare in my face. I thought that was kind of overkill. I also don't like the way they ended episode 1. Toilet cliffhanger. I thought wasn't cool. I know why they did it, which just kind of gets to our whole end point of like, this whole thing was a gigantic PR stunt to launch All Access.
Right. Although, we'll probably get to this, so I'll let you keep it going with your thoughts. Sorry.
Okay, no, but I mean, I think the question that I have is it good enough to stream episode 2? Because now you got to pay. Now they got to give you a little nugget.
Well, I think
now
you get
go in there.
a 7-day free trial. But
So you get one more episode.
so you get one more episode. For me, it was, but I am a Trekkie through and through. Like, we're a house divided on this. I am much more a Star Trek person, and you're much more a Star Wars person.
Some ways.
So for me, it was because what ends up drawing me in most TV shows that I stick with is the character development. And so I found the characters just interesting enough that I want to dig a little deeper and learn a little more. Plus, I love the fact that there are 2 women of color in these lead roles, and that they were their authentic selves. That, you know, the captain was very much an Asian woman and had certain mannerisms. And then the first officer was very much a black woman and had certain mannerisms.
Black Vulcan, by the way.
A black Vulcan, yeah. Or
adopted black Vulcan.
Adopted Vulcan. Yeah. She was rocking that Vulcan haircut though
in the flashback scene.
Flashback scene.
Yeah,
that was great. So yeah, I think I'll give it a try. I don't know the other reason why, and it's independent of the show itself, but I've wanted to watch The Good Fight for a while, which is also on CBS All Access. So now that there are 2 shows that I could get into, it's almost worth the price of admission for me now. Whereas before I was kind of like, The Good Fight, I'll read what people have to say about it, but I'm not going to pay to stream it.
More likely to end up on Amazon, Apple, Roku eventually.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's talk a little bit about the fact that, you know, it's CBS and Netflix produced. Everywhere else in the world, they get it on Netflix. In America, you have to buy a separate streaming service.
Right.
I have gone on record on this show a few times saying that I want to cut the cord again. I want to pay for things a la carte. Overall, I don't hate this idea of trying to launch a network with a major show like this. My hesitancy always came because, like we've talked about, unlike Netflix and some of the other ones, you don't know if they're going to cancel a show halfway through a season, and then you're just never going to Daisies, none of these all the time, right?
Alcatraz.
I'm
still mad about that one.
But, like, we don't know with those kind of things. Star Trek has already been renewed for 2nd season.
Right.
After episode 1. Well, actually, I take that back. If it was a Fox show that was good, pretty much death knell. Never going to make it.
Alcatraz,
Firefly, right? Firefly just came up in the thing. So, pretty much you know that it's never going to, like, but it's an interesting prospect that they're going to start trying to build these shows that are online exclusives. Say online because it's essentially broadcast television that's just streamed. They're not going to give you all of Star Trek Discovery in one shot like Netflix does. They can come week and get the trial or free trial, the monthly subscription and everything.
Well, and that's what Hulu did with The Handmaid's Tale. It was released every week.
Right.
It wasn't
more
released
traditional
in one batch, and it cleaned up at the Emmys, which we talked about a little bit last week. So I think and CBS couldn't have planned for this, but I think the success of The Handmaid's Tale at the Emmys and with audiences is actually going to help them in this regard.
It's possible, but the question that I wonder too is, like, if it's released weekly like that, does it give it more of a bite to the rest of the shows? Or does releasing it all in one shot make it feel cheap?
Well, I don't think releasing it all in one shot necessarily makes it feel cheap. I think releasing it every week is, in my opinion, the better long-term strategy, because then you get that build up elsewhere about it. You need to release it every week so that you have a hashtag trending on
Yeah.
social media, so that you have water cooler conversation the next day of, well, did you watch Discovery last
Yeah.
night? I passed my former boss in the hallway today at work and was like, hey, we need to talk about Star Trek. So releasing it week by week, you get some of that you get with traditional broadcast television. And it's being, for all intents and purposes here in America at least, it's being brought to you by a traditional broadcast outlet. So
it is. They did the same thing, and I railed against this for American Gods because everywhere else in the world you can get on Amazon Prime. America, you had to buy Cinemax or show. I will eventually remember what it is. Still not happy about that. Still need to actually look and see if now I can purchase it. But I'm just wondering one of those things because I think eventually you're going to go back and say I like the shows on CBS. Fox will go do their thing. DC will go do their thing. Disney is doing their thing. Eventually we're going to pay the same amount for streaming services piecemeal as we do cable TV. There, they want their cut of it. Like I don't know how much CBS gets, but I think ESPN only got like $4, $5 household per month or something like that. CBS and the other ones probably get less. And then if you have the HD antennas and stuff like that, you can get it's free. So I think CBS is trying to recoup some costs there to people that they've lost to stuff like that, making it accessible to the millennial generation. Some of our, I do not think I'm a. Don't give me that look. And coming across, no.
I wasn't even thinking that.
I am a 62-year-old man. Damn it.
Not according to the Social Security Administration.
It's run by idiots right now, so So I don't know. I'm torn of it. I think we're gonna watch just a crack of it for the show. That's kind of where I'm at. I want to give it a shot. I want to give the Grand Experiment a shot for this whole thing. I don't want to necessarily wait for it to come out on Amazon. I will try to find American Gods or something like that, or all of those kind of things, right? I don't want to try to go buy them PC. I like the ability to buy them. I'll pay $1.99 for an HD show. I'm cool with that. No problem. But this is a Grand Experiment of being able to have all access and get, I guess, live TV as well as all the shows. CBS is trying to position themselves a little bit like HBO Go.
Well, it does appeal to true cord cutters in that regard, especially since CBS has some of the most popular shows on TV. Big Bang
but I don't
Theory.
give a shit about Big Bang Theory.
I mean, we don't.
I know.
We don't watch them, but
Yeah.
a lot of other people do, and a lot of those people have cut the cord. So
That's fair.
this would appeal to them. But I do think, and I didn't think about this when we were discussing this Sunday night, I do think there's almost something ironic, maybe isn't the right word, Alanis, but in the fact that it's a show set in the future and it's being presented in a platform that will eventually be the future of television. Television as we know it isn't going to be around much longer.
Yeah.
And so I think there's some beauty in that.
It's appropriate, you would say?
It is appropriate. And I don't know.
Apropos.
I don't know if CBS thought that far and put that much
They probably did.
into it, but
yeah, there's a good chance.
there is that.
Oh, Hunter Chen. Hello, you made it. How you doing, buddy? I tend to agree, and that's why I'm sort of like waiting for the rest of this. I guess that's the reason we dislike the Rick and Morty thing so much too. We brought that up over a couple of weeks where it's like, just give them a chance, sell some advertising, let people.
Yeah.
Traditional model, but people don't have to have cable subscriptions. So
I think we should check in a year from now.
Yeah.
And see where we are in terms of cord cutting. And if
a year from now, we will probably have what is it? The 2018, 2019 deals for Disney will be up and things like that, and so we're gonna be like really getting into it then. Gonna start. I mean, all predictions I think it's gonna start to go. So, interested. Now, data caps being what they are, could balance this whole thing out. So we'll see how long they can sort of hold all this stuff off.
Yeah, when we've got kids streaming YouTube Kids all the time.
Hey, what you gonna do? Got to keep them entertained somehow. Not like we want to interact with or anything. We didn't have Spawn for anything, you know. Anything else we want to talk about tonight?
That thing.
That thing?
Yes.
That thing funded today.
Yay!
Thank you guys so much. This has been sorry. For those who are listening to this on the podcast, I just pointed at the Identico banner that we keep on the background. Identico funded today. We have 36 hours left in the campaign, 35 hours now, according to this, left in the campaign. Which means we can still hit some stretch goals, actually, the way that we were going today. But in all seriousness, this is 3 years of hard work that has come to fruition. You guys have validated a creative's life for the past 3 years. Something that can't really put a number to, even though we're doing a number to try to get the books out there. The validation that you guys want to actually play this game and that we haven't just been crazy for the entire time running up and down, the world trying to tell people about it, feels really, really good. So for everybody that's on Twitch, thank you guys so much for helping us out. For everybody that has heard us on the podcast and helped us out. For everybody that we've met at conventions, we did a huge PAX this year with all of us Magical. Thank you guys so much for that. So now we've got some work to do. So we're going to get some books out to you here coming up at the beginning of the year. Keep a lookout for that. And we'll keep talking to you about it. Don't worry.
Yeah, and for those of you who haven't backed it, go check out the Kickstarter page. I'm not just saying it's fun because I happen to be Mallow's better half. It is fun. My character has a amphibious RV named Jambalaya and a motorcycle called Boudin and some pipe bombs called beignets. And so it's really fun and a really great way to get into role playing in a futuristic setting. It kind of fits in with our final segment.
Yeah.
So, but congratulations, honey. I am very proud of you.
Thank you. For everybody on the show, hang on. There is one good joke that was in that people were asking why Star Trek Discovery keeps going back in time. And it's funny that you mentioned their futuristic kind of thing. And somebody in the chat said they were why does it keep going backwards in time instead of having the next generation, which I think was Deep Space Nine and Voyager. But they said when you go back in time, that's when you end up with Scott Bakula.
Yep, Enterprise.
So I think this is supposed to fit in between Enterprise.
There was a quantum leap in there, right. And then
what if Enterprise he was quantum leaped and he was just there for a while? Oh, and somebody said Muffins is the best Rob.
I know who said that.
Right? I did a Q&A with a RPG community, and our benevolent overlord crashed the Q&A just to scream in spam chat with Muffins is the best in there. So, who also flat pancaked himself on the top of a box truck because you rolled a 1. Anyways, you guys have been listening to Super Magical Podcast. Big thank you to everybody that's been in the chat tonight. Pete, Hunter, Joe, you guys are awesome. Thank you for joining and talking along with it. If you are, yes, dear.
Sorry, we forgot to mention the one thing that Star Trek did terribly wrong.
What's that?
This is not Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. You cannot phone a Vulcan every time you have a quandary.
Oh my God. I did forget about that. Yeah, everything that is Star Trek these days is phone a Vulcan. Everything is phone a Vulcan right now. Can we get past that part of the plot, please?
Yes. Let's have some more intelligent beings in the galaxy who know a lot of shit.
I got really excited because of all the Kickstarter stuff and all like that when I was writing the notes, and I totally forgot that we said you had to phone a Vulcan. So,
and I love Vulcans. I am very Spock-like. I hope you all live long and prosper, peace and long life. But damn,
yeah,
find somebody else to get some
and
information
it's Sarek
from.
too, which has a connection to the next generation and stuff like that, which is really kind of cool. But, yeah, phone a Vulcan should not be the lifeline you get time for one. So, Alexa, live long and prosper. Everybody out there on Twitch, and you guys have been listening to our show. Thank you so much. Thank you to everybody on Twitch that I just talked to. If you want to interact on the show, you can get us. We're going to be on the show every Tuesday. We're going to be back hopefully next week. I think we're going to go starting soon at 9 p.m. Pacific. We'll let you know in the in the Twitterverse and all the social medias, because we're trying to do this all proper like so. If you're not able to watch the show, though, and you want to stream, we are on demand on Twitch and YouTube, or as you might be listening to this now on a podcast on your favorite podcatcher. Please throw us a subscribe, let us know, or a favorite, a 5-star review, anything. Throw us one and let us know that you did it. We'll call you out on the show. We don't do any paid advertising for the show, so it's word of mouth only. We rely on your generosity and your good looks and your wonderful, wonderful smiles out there to help us know, to help everybody else know that this podcast exists and that we're having a lot of fun with you guys. I'm not going to mention anything else. It says in my show notes to plug Identica one more time. We've already done that. The podcast is recorded here in Seattle. It's a production of Super Magical and Humanoid Games. Our executive producer is Gator Pete. Our benevolent overlord is checking in from the contamination unit up north, but he's Grandpa Joe. Hoover, we have no idea what's going on with him, but we'll figure it out for next week. If you have a comment or question, find us on Facebook or Twitter. Search Super Magical Podcast. For my co-host for life, Jay. For everybody out there on Twitch, thank you again. We'll see you guys next. Love you.